The sky above the new world was gray and heavy, with clouds that moved like slow rivers. Wind cut across the rocky plains, carrying dust and the smell of cold metal. The humans had landed here years ago, hoping to escape the dying Earth. They had thought this planet called Arden 5 would give them a fresh start. But nothing had been easy. Crops refused to grow, machines broke too quickly, and every day felt like a battle against the land itself. Alex Carter walked across the main settlement, boots crunching on gravel. His jacket was patched in several places, and his hands were black from grease. He had been fixing the water filtration system all morning, and he was tired. The pipes were old, parts were missing, and every time he thought he had it working, something else would go wrong. He stopped for a moment, looking at the small houses clustered together. People were going about their day, carrying supplies, checking equipment, or talking quietly in corners. Fear was always there, like an invisible shadow. "Morning, Alex," called Jenny, one of the young workers from near the storage shed. She waved with a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. Alex nodded. He knew what she meant without words. Every day was a struggle, and the fear of not surviving was always present. "Morning," he replied, and then turned toward the edge of the settlement. There was work to do, and the day was only beginning. The generator had been acting strange, and if it failed, the settlement would be without power for hours. No light, no warmth, no water. He felt a tight knot in his stomach as he thought about the consequences. Outside the small compound, the land stretched endlessly, a mix of gray rocks and brown soil. It was silent except for the wind. Alex and a small team were preparing to go on a scavenging mission. Supplies were running low, and they needed parts from an old outpost several kilometers away. It was dangerous work. The terrain could collapse without warning, and the occasional storms were deadly. "We should hurry," Alex said. "We don't want to get caught in another storm." "I know," replied Laura Hill, the settlement's linguist. She carried a small bag with tools and notebooks. She was always calm, even when danger was near. Alex liked that about her. Her quiet confidence made others feel stronger. Ben Harper, the security officer, checked their weapons. His face was set in a permanent frown. He did not trust the world. And he trusted even less anyone who might slow him down. "Stay alert," Ben said. "This planet isn't friendly. Neither are the others." The team moved carefully across the rocky plains. Every step needed attention. Every sound mattered. After a while, they saw something unusual. A small figure lay in a shallow depression between rocks. At first, Alex thought it might be another human, injured or lost. As they got closer, he realized it was not human at all. The creature was small, maybe 12 or 13 in human years. Her skin was pale with a faint blue tint, and her eyes were large, dark, and filled with fear. She was trembling, and her breathing was uneven. Alex knelt beside her. "She's alive," he said softly. "Get her out of the wind." They carried her carefully back to the settlement, whispering among themselves. No one had ever seen anything like her before. Some of the younger workers stared with wide eyes, afraid but curious. Back in the settlement, Laura sat with the alien girl on a cot. She spoke slowly, trying to calm her. The girl flinched at every sound but did not cry. "We're not going to hurt you," Laura said. "My name is Laura. What's yours?" The girl looked at her but did not answer. She shook her head slightly. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Laura smiled gently. "It's okay. We'll find a way to understand each other." Alex watched quietly from the doorway. He felt a strange mix of hope and worry. This alien girl might be a key to understanding the planet, or she might bring danger to the small community. He could not be sure which. Over the next few days, the girl slowly recovered. She drank water and ate small amounts of food. Laura spent hours trying to teach her simple words. She learned quickly, repeating sounds and gestures. The humans began to notice that she was intelligent, aware, and curious. "She's different from what I expected," Alex said to Laura one evening. "I thought aliens would be, well, I don't know, more dangerous." "They're not all dangerous," Laura replied. "Sometimes we just don't understand them." The settlement began to change. People who had been tired, fearful, and closed off started to smile again. Children played near the girl, calling her Lyra because it sounded like the closest human name to her own. Her presence brought a strange light to the colony. She reminded them of what they had lost on Earth and what they could still protect, but not everyone was happy. Ben continued to watch her carefully. He whispered to a few others that trusting an alien was dangerous. "We don't know what she wants," he said. "She could be spying or worse. Mark my words, trouble will follow." Alex ignored him mostly. He believed in humanity's instinct to help those in need. He had seen people survive on cooperation more than fear, and he could see that Lyra needed them just as much as they needed hope. One night, as Alex repaired a broken water pump, he heard a faint noise outside. He looked up to see Lyra standing near the edge of the settlement. Her eyes were wide, staring at the horizon. She seemed unsure, frightened, but drawn to something beyond. Alex approached her carefully. "It's late," he said softly. "Come inside. It's not safe out there." She shook her head and pointed toward the rocks. Then she made a sound, low and musical, unlike anything Alex had heard before. He realized she was trying to warn him. "Something's out there?" he asked. She nodded slightly. He glanced at the horizon and saw the clouds moving fast, darker than before. A storm was coming. He helped her back inside, but the feeling of unease did not leave him. He could not shake the idea that the planet had more secrets, more dangers than they understood. And Lyra, though small and fragile, might know things they could not imagine. Over the next days, the humans prepared for the storm. Shelters were reinforced, machines checked, and people stayed close together. Lyra watched everything carefully, learning not just their words, but their ways. She learned that humans survive not just by strength, but by watching, helping, and trusting each other. When the storm finally hit, it was brutal. Wind ripped across the settlement, tearing small structures and hurling debris. Rain fell in sheets, and the humans huddled together in the main shelter. Alex worked tirelessly, helping repair leaks, guiding frightened children, and keeping spirits up. Lyra stayed close, her small hands reaching for his when she was scared. Through the storm, Alex realized something important. Humanity's survival depended not on one person, one machine, or one strategy. It depended on the way they cared for each other. They could survive cold, wind, and rock, but only if they faced it together. After the storm passed, the settlement was battered but intact. Some structures were damaged, but no lives were lost. Alex walked among the people, helping repair what he could, and noticed something new. Smiles had returned. Hope was fragile, but it was there. He looked at Lyra, who was playing with a small group of children near the center of the settlement. She laughed, a soft, musical sound that made him realize something he hadn't thought before. Hope could be contagious, and sometimes it came from the most unexpected places. That night, as the humans sat around small fires talking quietly about repairs and plans, Alex thought about the journey ahead. They had survived the storm, but the planet was not done testing them. Dangers lurked, both outside and inside. Yet for the first time in a long time, he felt that they could face whatever came next. He sat near Laura, watching Lyra sleep under a blanket she had chosen herself. She looked peaceful, almost human in her stillness, and Alex smiled. She had reminded them of something humans often forget. Survival was not only about fighting, it was about understanding, helping, and sometimes simply being brave enough to care. The night was quiet now, the storm gone. Alex felt a small flicker of optimism. The world outside was harsh and the future uncertain. But inside the settlement, humanity's heart beat strong, and for the first time, he believed that maybe, just maybe, they could endure anything. Days passed after the storm, and life in the settlement slowly returned to routine. The people worked together to repair buildings, fix machines, and clean debris. Alex Carter moved among them, helping wherever he could. His hands were still covered in grease and his clothes were worn, but he felt alive. He had learned something important. Humans could survive harsh weather, broken machines, and cold nights. But they survived best when they stood together. Lyra stayed close to Laura Hill most of the time. The alien girl had begun to trust her, and she learned faster than anyone expected. She could repeat words almost perfectly now and understood simple instructions. Sometimes she even corrected Laura's pronunciation, making the humans laugh. "You're smarter than some of us," Laura said one afternoon, smiling. Lyra tilted her head and made a soft sound, like a laugh. The gesture was simple, but it meant something. Alex noticed it from a distance and felt a warmth in his chest. Hope came in small, quiet ways. Alex and Laura decided it was time to learn more about Lyra's origins. She knew the planet well, more than they did, and could help them survive in places they could not explore alone. One morning, they gathered a small group and set out toward the rocky plains beyond the settlement. Lyra led the way. She walked lightly, sure-footed, while the humans stumbled over rocks and uneven ground. "She's used to this," Alex said, panting. "We need to pay attention." "She is showing us the way," Laura replied. "Watch carefully. We can learn more about the planet from her than from any book." They came to a cliff that overlooked a wide valley. Lyra stopped and pointed. Below, the land was littered with the ruins of old buildings, strange towers, and crumbling walls. The structures were unlike anything humans had built. They were tall, smooth, and strangely beautiful. "These were made by your people?" Alex asked quietly. Lyra nodded. She touched the rocks gently, as if remembering something. Laura stepped closer, her notebook ready. She tried to ask questions, but Lyra only made soft sounds and simple gestures. It was not words, but it was enough to tell them she remembered a civilization. A people had lived here long ago, and they had left signs of their power and knowledge. Alex felt a chill. Humanity had thought they were alone on this planet. Now they saw evidence that something had lived here before, something advanced. He wondered why it had disappeared, leaving the land so harsh and empty. "We need to explore those ruins," Laura said. "There may be technology or information that can help us survive." Ben Harper shook his head. "Or it could be dangerous. We don't know what's waiting there. Could be traps, could be creatures." "Everything here is dangerous," Alex replied. "But we can't survive if we stay blind." They decided to camp near the edge of the valley. The ruins were large, and the sun was low in the sky. Lyra sat quietly, watching the stones. She sometimes touched the ground, as if reading memories from it. Alex had never seen anything like it. She was small, fragile, but there was a strength in her that humans rarely recognized. The next day, they entered the ruins. Tall walls rose around them, cracked and worn but still standing. Inside, they found machines, broken but intact, and strange symbols carved into metal surfaces. Laura studied them carefully. The symbols seemed to tell stories, not just instructions. She showed Lyra, pointing and repeating sounds. The girl's eyes lit up. She understood. "She remembers them," Laura said quietly. "This was her world once, or at least part of it. She can guide us through it." Alex touched one of the machines. It was cold, lifeless, but he felt the potential in it. "If we can repair even part of this, it could help the settlement survive." As they explored deeper, Lyra suddenly froze. Her eyes widened, and she pressed herself against the wall. A low sound escaped her throat, warning them. Alex looked around, but the ruins seemed empty. No one moved, no creatures appeared. Yet the feeling of danger was strong. "What is it?" Alex whispered. Lyra made gestures toward a central chamber. She seemed to say, without words, that something was wrong inside. Cautiously, the group followed her. The chamber was large, filled with strange devices and broken statues. In the center, a machine hummed faintly. It looked harmless at first, but Lyra's eyes were full of fear. "We should be careful," Laura said. "She's telling us something." Alex nodded. He studied the machine. Suddenly it activated, lights flickering, sending a low vibration through the ground. The humans jumped back. Lyra's hands went up as if to push it down, but it could not be stopped. A panel opened, revealing data crystals glowing softly. "This could be valuable," Alex said. "It might help us understand the planet." Lyra shook her head violently. She made a sound, urgent and sharp. Laura tried to calm her, but the girl would not be soothed. It was clear. Whatever the machine represented, it was dangerous, or at least not meant to be used lightly. They took the crystals anyway, thinking they could study them carefully. Lyra followed reluctantly, still tense. When they returned to the settlement, she hid in a corner, watching the humans with suspicion. She was not angry, but cautious. Over the next days, the humans tried to learn from the crystals. Laura studied the symbols, Alex examined the machines, and even the younger workers tried to understand. Lyra helped when she could, pointing, correcting, or warning. Slowly, the story became clear. The civilization that had built these ruins had destroyed itself. "What happened to them?" Alex asked. Lyra made gestures, showing people fighting each other, machines breaking, and chaos spreading. She made a motion to the heart, then downward, and finally pointed at herself. Laura interpreted. The people had turned against each other, destroyed by fear and anger. Ben Harper overheard this and frowned. "So humans are next?" he muttered. "Not if we learn from them," Alex replied. "We can survive because we care for each other, not because we dominate or destroy." The settlement began to change again. Humans worked more closely, shared food, and repaired machines together. Even small children helped, carrying tools or fetching water. Lyra watched quietly, but her eyes softened. She seemed to understand that humans were different from her people. They were strong, not because of technology or power, but because of trust and unity. One evening, as the sun set behind the cliffs, Alex and Laura sat near a small fire. Lyra played nearby, teaching herself to imitate human sounds. The wind was calm, and for the first time, Alex felt a sense of peace. "She's amazing," he said quietly. "We would have been lost without her." "She's teaching us too," Laura replied. "About patience, about observation, about how to survive when everything seems impossible." Alex nodded. He looked around the camp, at tired but smiling faces, and felt hope for the first time in months. Humanity had faced storms, hunger, and fear, but they were still alive. They were stronger than any machine, any storm, any unknown danger. But not all humans were happy with the changes. Ben continued to watch Lyra closely. He whispered to a few others that trusting her was dangerous. "We don't know what she wants," he said. "She could be leading us into a trap." Alex ignored him mostly. He knew fear was easy, but cooperation was rare and precious. He could feel the truth. Humans survived because they cared, not because they ruled. One night, as Alex repaired another broken generator, Lyra approached quietly. She held a small piece of metal, shaped like a key. She handed it to him, then made a sound that meant, "Use it carefully." Alex studied it. It was simple, but he understood. She was showing him a way to unlock one of the machines in the ruins safely. "She trusts us," Laura said softly. "And now we must trust her." Alex nodded. He realized that the alien girl had become more than a helper. She was a bridge between worlds, a reminder that survival depended on understanding, courage, and connection. Humans had always fought to survive, but now they had something new, guidance from someone who had known a world before them. The next day, they prepared to return to the ruins, carrying tools and supplies. Lyra led confidently, showing paths, warning of weak ground, and pointing out hidden dangers. Alex felt pride and hope. They were learning, growing, and surviving together. As they moved across the valley, the humans realized something they had never fully understood. The real strength of life was not in power or weapons, but in trust, care, and patience. The ruins of the old civilization were a warning, but they were also a lesson. Humans could endure, adapt, and thrive, but only if they did not let fear destroy them from the inside. Alex looked at Lyra, small but determined, and smiled. He thought of the future, uncertain but bright. Together, they could face storms, dangers, and the unknown. The alien girl had taught them that survival was about more than machines, food, or shelter. It was about heart, courage, and unity. And for the first time, Alex believed that humanity could not just survive, but grow stronger than ever, even in a world that seemed determined to break them. Days passed after their second trip to the ruins. The humans had learned much from Lyra's guidance. She showed them how to avoid weak ground, read alien symbols, and repair small machines. The settlement seemed stronger. People worked together better, shared food, and helped one another without argument. Hope was growing, small but steady, but not everyone was happy. Ben Harper still watched the alien girl with suspicion. He could not accept that humans could trust someone so different, someone whose past was unknown. He whispered to a few like-minded workers, warning them that danger could come from inside the settlement, not just the outside world. "You don't know her intentions," he said one night to the group. "She could be leading us into a trap. Mark my words, trouble is coming." Alex overheard some of these words and frowned. He knew fear could spread faster than fire. Humans had survived storms, wild terrain, and scarcity, but the weakest link was often fear, jealousy, or distrust within. He decided to watch carefully, but not act rashly. Tensions slowly began to rise. Small arguments turned into fights. One morning, a worker named Simon got into a heated disagreement with another over food distribution. Lyra watched quietly, her eyes wide. She had learned how humans argued, how emotions could flare, and how small conflicts could grow into serious problems. Alex tried to calm people, reminding them that survival depended on cooperation. "We cannot fight among ourselves," he said. "The planet is harsh. If we lose each other, we lose everything." Laura supported him. She spoke to small groups, showing them that helping each other was stronger than fighting. Lyra sometimes demonstrated too, gently guiding humans to do tasks together, showing that unity was safer than isolation. Despite their efforts, the settlement began to experience strange problems. Supplies went missing, machines broke more than usual, and doors were left open at night. At first, Alex thought it was the planet testing them again. But gradually he began to realize that someone inside was causing these problems. "Someone is sabotaging us," Alex said one evening to Laura and Jenny. "It's not the planet, it's us." Laura frowned. "Who could do this? Why?" Alex shook his head. "Fear and anger can turn people against each other. We need to watch carefully and keep calm." Ben was quick to blame Lyra. "She is the cause of this," he told others. "She came from outside. She does not belong here. Everything started after she arrived." Lyra heard this and flinched. She did not understand all the words, but she felt the hostility. She moved closer to Alex and Laura, seeking protection. Alex knelt beside her. "It's okay," he said. Not everyone understands you yet, but we will protect you." The sabotage continued. Food disappeared, tools went missing, and one night, a small fire broke out near the storage area. Alex and a few others ran to put it out. They saved the supplies, but the fire left everyone shaken. "This is getting worse," Jenny said. "If we can't trust each other, we won't survive." Alex nodded. He realized that Ben's warnings were spreading like poison. Fear was attacking the humans from within, and it was stronger than any storm or machine failure. He called a meeting of all adults in the settlement. They gathered in the central hall, tired faces lit by flickering lights. Alex spoke carefully. "We have survived storms, hunger, and cold nights. We have survived because we worked together. But now we face a different danger. It is not outside the walls. It is inside. Fear, distrust, and anger can destroy us faster than anything else." Some people nodded, but Ben and his followers glared. "We cannot trust outsiders," Ben said. "We should take control, protect ourselves, and get rid of threats." "No," Alex said firmly. "We survive by helping each other, not by controlling each other. We protect each other, not attack." The room was silent. Tension hung in the air like a storm waiting to strike. Over the next days, Alex and Laura worked to repair the damage and watch for signs of sabotage. They also tried to show the humans that cooperation worked better than fear. They organized tasks that required teamwork, repairing machines, distributing food, and tending to the small gardens. Lyra helped too, guiding people patiently and showing that working together was safer than fighting. But the internal conflict continued. Ben secretly organized a few workers to ignore instructions, hoard food, and damage equipment. He believed that controlling the settlement would make them stronger. He did not realize that by doing so, he was weakening it. One evening, Alex discovered a broken water pump. It had been carefully tampered with. His heart sank. This was not an accident. Someone wanted them to fail. He called Laura and Jenny to inspect it. "It's deliberate," Alex said. "We are being sabotaged from inside." Laura shook her head. "I cannot believe anyone would risk our lives like this." Alex looked at her seriously. "Fear makes people do strange things. We must find the cause and stop it, but we must not fight each other blindly. That is what Ben wants." They decided to watch quietly, tracking unusual activity. Slowly, the truth became clear. Ben and a few followers were the source. They had hoarded supplies, damaged machines, and spread fear. Their plan was not fully understood, but it was dangerous. Lyra seemed to sense the tension before Alex did. She stayed close to the people she trusted, warning them with small gestures when danger was near. One night, she led Alex to a storage room just before Ben's group tried to start another fire. Her warning saved them again. Alex realized something important. Lyra was not just guiding humans through the planet. She was helping them survive themselves. She understood that the real danger was not storms, machines, or alien ruins. It was inside, the fear, anger, and distrust that could destroy them faster than anything outside. Alex confronted Ben quietly the next morning. "We cannot allow this to continue," he said. "You are hurting everyone. We survive together or we fail together. Choose now." Ben sneered. "You are naive. Survival is about strength, not kindness. We will see who is right." Alex knew words alone could not stop him. He returned to the settlement, determined to prepare everyone to work together and protect each other. He spoke to small groups, reminding them of the storms, the ruins, and how much they had survived already. Slowly, people began to listen. The human workers who had once supported Ben started to see the danger. They realized that his actions were hurting the settlement more than helping it. One by one, they returned to helping with repairs, food, and security. Fear began to lose its power as trust grew. Lyra continued to guide quietly. She showed humans how to check equipment, how to stay safe in dangerous terrain, and how to work as a group. She did not fight directly, but her presence reminded humans what mattered: unity and care. One night, a storm approached again. Smaller than before, but still dangerous. Alex organized the people to reinforce shelters, secure machines, and stay in pairs. He noticed that everyone worked together, calmly, without fear. Even some of Ben's followers had joined in. During the storm, Alex watched from a small window. The wind shook the buildings and rain fell in sheets, but no one panicked. Children were safe, adults worked steadily, and Lyra stayed near those who needed comfort. Alex realized that the settlement had survived because people had chosen trust over fear, cooperation over anger. When the storm passed, the damage was minimal. Some tools were broken, and a small wall had collapsed, but no lives were lost. Alex felt relief. He turned to Laura, who smiled quietly. "We did it," she said. "We survived because we stayed together." Alex nodded, thinking of Lyra. The small alien girl had taught them more than survival skills. She had shown them the importance of patience, understanding, and trust. Humans were not perfect, but they were capable of greatness when they worked as one. Ben did not give up easily. He continued to spread doubt and fear in whispers, but the humans were stronger now. They had seen the power of cooperation, the importance of protecting each other, and the danger of letting fear take control. Ben's influence was weakening. Alex realized that this struggle was far from over. The planet was harsh, and more challenges would come. But the real lesson had been learned. The greatest danger was not outside in storms or alien machines. It was inside, in the heart of humans themselves. Fear, anger, and distrust could destroy them faster than any alien threat. Lyra sat quietly beside Alex that night. She looked at him with her large, dark eyes. He smiled and reached out. She placed a small hand in his, a silent gesture of trust. Alex felt a warmth in his chest. Survival was not only about machines, food, or shelter. It was about heart, courage, and unity. The settlement was tired, but alive. Humans had faced their own weaknesses and learned to overcome them. They had discovered that the real enemy could live inside, but also that they had the strength to defeat it when they chose trust and care over fear and selfishness. Alex looked at the sleeping settlement, the small fires, and the quiet streets. He felt hope. Humanity had survived storms, alien lands, and sabotage from within. They were scarred, tired, and wary, but stronger than ever. And with Lyra by their side, he believed they could survive anything. He whispered softly to himself, "The real enemy is inside, but so is our strength." And for the first time, Alex truly believed that humans could endure, adapt, and thrive, even in the harshest, most dangerous worlds. Life in the settlement had returned to a fragile calm after the storms and sabotage. Humans were learning to trust each other more, and Lyra stayed close to those who needed guidance. She had become a quiet leader in her own way, showing people how to work together, how to stay safe, and how to understand the dangers of the planet. Alex Carter moved among the workers, checking machines and supplies. The settlement had grown stronger, but he knew that the planet was still dangerous. The wind and dust were constant, and the ruins beyond the valley held unknown risks. Every day he worried not just about survival, but about the humans themselves. Fear could return at any moment. One morning, a scout named Emily ran into the central hall, out of breath. "Storm warning!" she shouted. "A massive dust storm is coming from the west. It will reach us in hours." The room filled with tension. Humans looked at each other, unsure what to do. Alex took charge immediately. "Everyone, prepare the shelters, secure the machines, gather food and water. Move fast, but stay calm." Laura organized small groups, assigning tasks and making sure no one was left behind. She moved with confidence, showing people where to go and how to help. Lyra followed closely, guiding children and warning adults of weak spots in buildings. Ben Harper watched from the side, frowning. He wanted to take full control, to order people to obey him. But the humans no longer followed fear blindly. They worked together, listening to Alex and Laura. Ben's influence had weakened since the sabotage had been exposed. As the storm approached, the sky turned dark. A rolling wall of dust and wind moving fast. Visibility dropped quickly. Alex checked the shelter entrances, making sure people were safe. Lyra pointed to one of the outer walls that was cracked. Alex nodded and reinforced it quickly. Her small hand had saved them from a disaster before, and now it was helping again. The storm hit hard. Wind howled like a living thing, carrying rocks and debris. Sand and dust filled the air, scratching at every surface. Humans huddled inside shelters, holding children close and checking machines for leaks. The storm was stronger than anything they had faced before. Alex stayed alert, moving from group to group. He checked on food storage, repaired small leaks, and comforted frightened people. Lyra stayed by his side, guiding him when visibility dropped too low or when debris blocked paths. "She understands this world better than we do," Alex said to Laura, shouting over the wind. "She has to," Laura replied. "She has seen worse than this. She survived it alone before she found us." Ben tried to take control, ordering humans to move faster or do things his way, but people ignored him. They had learned that cooperation, not fear, kept them alive. The storm raged on for hours, testing every skill, every bond, every trust they had built. When it finally passed, the settlement was battered but still standing. Some walls had collapsed, machines were damaged, and food had been lost, but no lives were taken. Alex walked among the people, checking injuries and making sure everyone was safe. He noticed the exhaustion in their faces, but also a quiet pride. They had survived together. "We did it," Jenny said quietly, smiling at Alex. "We survived because we worked together," Alex replied, "because we trusted each other." But the storm had revealed something else. The planet was full of unknown dangers, and humans alone could not face them. Alex knew that if they wanted to survive long-term, they would need to explore beyond the settlement, understand the alien ruins, and learn the secrets left behind. The next day, Alex, Laura, and a small group of workers prepared for another trip to the ruins. This time, they carried tools, supplies, and protective equipment for Lyra. She led them confidently, moving across dangerous terrain and pointing out weak spots, hidden crevices, and unstable cliffs. Humans followed her guidance carefully, trusting her instincts. As they entered the ruins, Lyra stopped suddenly. Her eyes widened, and she pressed against the wall. Alex and Laura followed her gaze. Ahead, a part of the ruins had collapsed, blocking the path. It was a dangerous structure, and if they tried to move through it, rocks could fall at any moment. "We need another way," Alex said, studying the rocks. Lyra pointed to a narrow passage along the side, hidden by debris. Alex examined it and nodded. Carefully, they began to move through the smaller passage, one at a time. It was slow and tense, but Lyra guided them safely. Deep inside the ruins, they found a large chamber. Machines hummed faintly, some lights flickered, and strange symbols covered the walls. It was clear this place had once been a center of knowledge and power. Laura examined the symbols, carefully copying them into her notebook. Lyra watched, pointing out details and correcting mistakes. Suddenly, a loud vibration shook the ground. Rocks fell from the ceiling and dust filled the air. The humans froze. Alex grabbed Lyra, pulling her to safety and helped the others find cover. It was not a natural earthquake. It was the ruins themselves shifting, unstable and dangerous. "We need to get out," Alex shouted over the rumble. Move carefully! Follow Lyra! They retraced their path, climbing over debris and narrow ledges. Lyra led confidently, guiding them through danger. Humans were scared, but they trusted her, and they survived. When they finally emerged from the ruins, they were shaken, but alive. "This place is dangerous," Alex said, breathing heavily. "We need to learn from it, but we cannot take unnecessary risks." "She saved us again," Laura said, smiling at Lyra. The alien girl looked at her. Small hands pressed together in a quiet gesture. It was not just gratitude, it was understanding, a silent bond between them. Back at the settlement, the humans worked to repair damaged structures and machines. The storm and the ruins had tested their skills and their courage, but they had survived. Lyra continued to guide them, showing small improvements in efficiency, safety, and organization. She taught humans how to move carefully, observe closely, and help each other. Ben, however, had not given up. He saw the chaos as proof that humans needed strict control, not cooperation. He continued to whisper to a small group, sowing fear and doubt. "We are lucky to survive," he said, "but we cannot survive forever if we do not take power." Alex realized that the real battle was not against storms or ruins. It was against fear inside humans. He gathered the settlement and spoke firmly. "The planet is harsh, but the real danger is not just outside. It is inside us. Fear, anger, and selfishness can destroy us faster than any storm. We survive together, or we fail together." Some nodded quietly, understanding. Others, including Ben, glared but did not argue openly. The words had power, and people remembered the storms, the ruins, and the lives saved by cooperation. They began to work together more carefully, following instructions, helping each other, and trusting Lyra. Over the next weeks, the settlement improved. Machines were repaired, food storage was organized, and shelters were reinforced. Humans learned to rely on each other and on Lyra. The alien girl became not just a guide, but a symbol of unity and hope. One evening, Alex and Laura walked to the edge of the settlement, looking at the horizon. The land was still harsh, the wind constant, and the sky heavy with clouds. Yet humans had survived storms, sabotage, and dangerous ruins. They had grown stronger, more united, and wiser. "She is incredible," Alex said quietly, watching Lyra play with children nearby. "She saved lives more than anyone else, and she taught us to work together." Laura nodded. "She is teaching us to be human, in the truest sense. Courage, patience, and trust. Those are what will keep us alive." Alex smiled faintly. "We still have challenges ahead. More storms, more dangers, more unknowns. But for the first time, I believe we can face them." Lyra ran to them, small hands outstretched, eyes shining. She had found a new way to communicate. Simple gestures that humans could understand. She had learned them from observing humans, just as humans had learned from her. Alex and Laura knelt, returning her gestures, a silent agreement of trust and partnership. As night fell, the settlement was quiet but alive. Humans had survived the harshest conditions, learned from ruins, and faced the storms together. Lyra's presence reminded them of their strength, and her guidance had shown them that survival depended on unity, not fear. Alex looked at the sleeping settlement, the fires glowing softly, and thought about the future. They had faced storms, machines, sabotage, and fear itself. They had survived because they chose to trust each other. The lessons were clear. The real enemy was not the planet or alien machines. It was fear, anger, and selfishness inside. And if humans could overcome that, they could survive anything. He whispered softly, "We are stronger than fear, stronger than storms. And with Lyra we can face whatever comes next." The night was calm, but Alex knew the challenges would continue. The planet was harsh, the ruins were dangerous, and humans were not perfect. Yet, he felt hope. Humans could survive, thrive, and grow stronger, even in the face of the most extreme dangers, if they worked together, trusted each other, and listened to the guidance of someone wiser than themselves. And for the first time, Alex believed that humanity's survival was not only possible, but assured, as long as fear did not rule their hearts. The settlement had grown stronger in the months since Lyra's arrival. Humans had survived storms, sabotage, and dangerous ruins. Machines were repaired. Food was organized and shelters were reinforced. Trust had begun to replace fear, but Alex Carter knew that the greatest test had not yet come. The planet was still dangerous, and humans were still vulnerable, not only to the environment, but to themselves. One morning, Laura came running to Alex. "We have a problem," she said, breathing heavily. "The sensors in the ruins show movement, not animals. Something else. Something large." Alex frowned. "We knew the ruins were dangerous. Could it be another storm or debris falling?" Laura shook her head. "No. This is alive. Something is moving inside. It could destroy what we've built if it reaches the settlement." Alex gathered a small team, including Jenny, Simon, and a few strong workers. Lyra followed closely, her small hands guiding them through paths humans would not have seen. She moved with confidence and purpose. "She knows the ruins better than anyone," Alex said quietly. "We follow her lead." As they approached the ruins, the ground trembled. Dust rose in small clouds, and strange sounds echoed from within the stone structures. The team stayed close together, moving carefully. Lyra stopped suddenly, eyes wide, and pointed toward a central chamber. She made low, warning sounds. Alex and the humans froze. Inside the chamber, they saw it. A large creature, unlike anything human eyes had seen before. It was tall, with limbs that moved quickly and claws that could tear through metal. Its eyes glowed faintly, intelligent and dangerous. The humans felt fear rising, but Alex clenched his fists. He knew this was the moment they had prepared for, not only to survive the planet, but to survive themselves. "Stay calm," Alex whispered. "We move together, no one panics. We survive together." Lyra stepped forward, small and brave, making sounds and gestures that seemed to communicate with the creature. Surprisingly, it paused, tilting its head as if listening. Alex realized that Lyra understood something humans could not. She knew the creature, or at least knew how to reason with it. "We need a plan," Laura said. "We can't fight it directly. It will destroy us." Alex nodded. "We lead it away from the settlement. Lyra shows us the way." Carefully they moved through the ruins. Lyra stayed at the front, guiding the creature with sounds and movements. The humans followed, holding together, trusting her. It was slow and tense. One wrong move could provoke the creature, and if it became aggressive, the settlement would be in danger. Ben Harper appeared suddenly, armed and angry. "Step aside," he shouted. "We can fight it. We need control." Alex turned to him. "No, not this time. We survive by working together, not by fear. You stay here if you want, but don't interfere." Ben glared but hesitated. The others looked at Alex, waiting. They followed Lyra, moving as one unit. The creature followed cautiously, responding to Lyra's guidance. Humans moved slowly, avoiding sudden movements, staying united. After hours of careful navigation, they led the creature to a narrow canyon far from the settlement. It paused at the edge, looking back at the humans. Lyra made soft, musical sounds. The creature responded, lowering itself to the ground and finally turning away. It disappeared into the canyon, leaving the humans exhausted, but alive. Alex exhaled deeply. "We did it," he said quietly, "because we stayed calm, worked together, and trusted Lyra." Laura smiled, brushing dust from her jacket. "We survived again, but this time it was more than the planet. It was fear, anger, and chaos. We overcame them too. They returned to the settlement, tired but proud. The humans worked quickly to repair minor damage caused by the storm and the creature's earlier movements. Children played carefully, adults worked steadily, and Lyra moved quietly among them, watching, guiding, and teaching. Ben Harper, however, had not left. He spoke to a few workers privately, trying to regain influence. "We survived, yes," he said. "But what if something stronger comes? We need control, strength, leadership." Alex confronted him again. "We survived because we worked together, not because of control. Strength is useless without trust. You can choose to help, or you can stay outside. The choice is yours." Ben looked at the group, saw the determination in their faces, and realized he had lost. Slowly, he lowered his head and walked away. The humans had chosen unity, courage, and understanding over fear and power. Over the next weeks, the settlement grew stronger. They repaired damaged structures, reinforced equipment, and explored ruins cautiously, always guided by Lyra. She had become the symbol of hope, wisdom, and survival. The humans had learned that courage was not about fighting, but about understanding, patience, and trust. Alex watched Lyra teach children how to carry tools, observe dangers, and help each other. She showed humans how to move carefully through the ruins, how to read alien symbols, and how to work together. The humans learned quickly, and even adults improved in ways they never imagined. "She's teaching us how to survive and thrive," Jenny said. "And not just survive, she's teaching us to be better humans." Alex nodded. He realized that humanity's greatest strength was not technology or weapons, but the ability to care for each other, to trust, and to work together. They had survived storms, alien creatures, sabotage, and fear itself because they had chosen unity. One evening, as the sun set behind the cliffs, Alex, Laura, and Lyra stood together. The settlement glowed faintly in the distance, lights flickering, fires burning, children laughing quietly. The humans were safe, stronger, and wiser than before. "We have come far," Laura said softly, "but there will be more challenges. This planet will test us again." Alex looked at Lyra. The small alien girl had led them through danger, guided them through ruins, and taught them more than anyone could. "We can face anything now," he said, "because we have each other." Lyra made a small sound, a laugh, and held out her hands to the humans. It was a simple gesture, but it carried meaning, trust, understanding, and hope. The humans returned her gesture, a silent promise that they would survive together no matter what came next. The following months passed with careful work, exploration, and rebuilding. Humans discovered more ruins, learned from old machines, and improved their settlement. They grew stronger, not just in skill, but in unity. No storm, no creature, no sabotage could break the bonds they had formed. Alex reflected on everything they had survived: storms that could crush buildings, alien ruins filled with danger, a creature that could destroy them, and humans who had once been their own enemy. Yet, they had endured. The planet was harsh, but humanity's greatest strength had always been inside them. It was courage, patience, and the willingness to care for each other. One evening, as the first stars appeared in the sky, Alex walked to the edge of the settlement. Lyra ran to him, small feet moving quickly over the rocks. She looked at the horizon, then back at him, as if asking what would come next. Alex smiled. "We don't know what's ahead," he said, "but we can face it. Together." Lyra held out her small hand. Alex took it, feeling a warmth and hope he had not felt in years. Humans had survived the storms, the ruins, the creature, and even fear itself. Now they could survive anything. He thought of the future, new challenges, unknown dangers, but also opportunity. Humanity was not alone in the galaxy, and they were not weak. They had faced the real enemy, fear, anger, and distrust inside themselves, and they had won. The settlement was alive, strong, and united. Humans worked together, learned from the past, and looked forward with hope. Lyra stayed with them, small but powerful in her wisdom, guiding humans toward a future they could not have imagined alone. Alex looked at the stars above. The planet was harsh, the world was dangerous, but humans were unbroken. They had survived the storms, the creatures, and the failures of their own hearts. And now, they were ready to face the galaxy. He whispered softly, "We survived because we trusted, we cared, and we chose each other." The wind blew gently over the settlement, carrying dust and the faint sound of children laughing. Lyra sat near the fires, quiet but alert, watching the humans. She had chosen to stay, believing that humanity could achieve what her own people could not: survival, growth, and understanding. Alex looked at her, then at the settlement, and smiled. They were scarred, tested, and challenged, but stronger than ever. The storms, the ruins, and the dangers had taught them a truth they would never forget. The real enemy was inside, but so was their strength. Humans were capable of greatness. They had survived the worst, learned from it, and found hope where it seemed impossible. Together, they would endure. Together, they would thrive. And the alien girl, small, intelligent, and wise, remained by their side. A reminder that survival was more than strength. It was courage, trust, and unity. The stars shone above, the settlement glowed below, and humanity had learned its greatest lesson. The real enemy could live inside, but so could their power to endure, to adapt, and to survive. Alex whispered once more, "We are human, and we will survive." The night was calm, the settlement safe, and for the first time in a long while, the humans knew they could face anything together.